Well, hello. My name is Tiffany
Hi.
Kresme from 1Source Management Consulting, and I am speaking today with Ms. Brenda Quatang from ICSC Global. And today is Women Crush Wednesday, and I'm doing an interview with Brenda to talk about our business and issues that impact us as business owners. A little bit about Brenda. Brenda Quatang is a Baltimore-based entrepreneur with several businesses in the DMV area. She was introduced to project management through construction and grew into IT and agile project management. Her IT services company, ICSC Global, promotes agile methodology and utilization in the local and global markets. ICSC Global also provides certification and remote training for safe agile project management. Brenda sees the value and potential of leveraging IT and AI to help women and people of color close the wealth gap. I am very proud to say that Brenda is our first entrepreneur to be featured on our Women Crush Wednesday, and I'm happy to share this conversation with you. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Tiffany. Thank you so much. That was a beautiful introduction.
Thank you. So I guess we'll jump right on into it. And say,
Okay.
I guess my first question is a little bit about your background. How many years have you been a business owner?
I have officially been a business owner with ICSC now going on 5 years, but I think I've been a business owner all my life. I've had always some type of other formal business that I've been doing outside of my 9 to 5. When I was based in Columbus, Ohio, I renovated an amazing older church in downtown Columbus, and had that going, was still doing IT. And so there's always been kind of some small ongoing concern. Back in 2016, I was able to start this organization, Ingenuity Consulting Solutions, and did so in a way that allowed me to completely step away from my 9 to 5. And so here I am, and I'm enjoying life here as a business owner.
Would you say that you are more suited to business ownership than just being inside of somebody else's business as an employee?
Yes. I think and I don't think there's anything wrong with being in or working for a business. I did for years, and there's definitely value there in regards to what you can bring to an organization, or what an organization, when structured and focused well, can bring to its employees. I just know for me, in regards to who I am and how I function, that I needed to do something on my own. And I needed to be in a space where I felt that I could reach my greatest potential. And so being a business owner has allowed me to do that. And I really appreciate it every day.
Excellent. So it sounds to me like you have some vision going on yourself. And how do you see your business impacting the community and impacting the world? Or what do you want your business to do for the community and for the world?
I would say my vision and mission for my organization is around not only helping individuals now get into IT and learning how to train and understand how to do information technology, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's project management, whether it's agile methodology or something within one of those types of positions, but really helping us as a people of color be in a position now to intellectually and physically change our landscape in regards to where we live, how we live, and how we are able to find wealth, not only financially, but in our health, in our relationships, but just as a better world. And so, but it's baby steps. I'm not going to be able to take all of those, but I think at least as a business owner, showing and illuminating other careers to individuals that may think that they didn't have the chance, whether they think they're too old or whether they don't think that they have the intelligence to do it, to say it's quite possible. Anybody can do it. And you just have to do a little bit of hard work and it'll work out for you.
Excellent. So the next thing I will ask is actually our topic of choice. And before I say this, I will say that Brenda and I actually get along very, very well. We had a conversation the other day where I think we literally could have had like 3 hours worth of interview material, because we have so much interest in, IT concerns, project management concerns for being a business owner, a Black woman business owner, all of those things. So out of everything that we spoke about, one of the things that we want to talk about today is what Britt said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, or be ready, stay ready.
Exactly.
And I was going to ask you, for your small business, how did you get ready? And specifically, what did it do for your business during the pandemic, during the lockdown in COVID?
Gotcha. So I think that, and I got to preface this because a lot of times people assume, well, you got it right and you never got it wrong. So as I said, for years, I had other small businesses. I had a construction company. I had a daycare for like nearly 8 to 10 years. And so what I learned that was really important was having your financial infrastructure in place. So tracking what was coming in, what was going out, how you were paying for it, making sure that you had, whether if you choose to use Excel, whether you choose Wave, whether you use QuickBooks Online, whatever service it is, to ensure that you know what the financial picture is of your organization. And so that was really important to me. I needed to ensure that when I started my business, I want to be ahead of the tax collector. I want to make sure I understand what's going on before somebody else tells me what it is. And so being in that position when the incentives came out for the pandemic around, PPP and the other loan structures, it was literally a couple of presses of a button and I had that information in hand. I know a lot of people struggle to get that information. They had been in business for years and doing relatively well, but didn't have the ability to prove that. And that was a concern on some businesses, unfortunately, lost ability to even structure or access those funds because they didn't have that. So having the basics in place to me are really, really important. And I know as you start a business, sometimes it can be a little challenging in regards to the cost of these services. But one of the couple ones that I mentioned, Wave and then Xero. And if you do a search on the internet to find, there's things out there, there's solutions out there that you can at least start off with until you're in a position that you can have a paid solution or have someone come in and help you. I understand my numbers. I'm not great at my bookkeeping. That's why I hire a bookkeeper. And even if it's to this extent that you're like, I can't hire somebody every month, at least have stuff in order that you could have somebody maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months, just look over and make sure that you have a clear financial picture of how your business is doing and how you're doing in your business. And so when we talk about be ready, stay ready, it's forecasting and understanding what and where you need to be so that if something happens, you're able to respond to it.
And I'm actually going to go back to one of the things that you mentioned, because I think that a potential trap for small business owners, especially when your revenue might not be great, your expenses might not be that great. It doesn't feel like you're working with a lot of money. And I think it becomes easy to say, oh, I got it up here. I've got it up here in my mind. I know, where everything is, but it's like, it must be documented. It must come out of your own mind and be living in a document that can be shared with somebody else.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've had this conversation with a number of different business owners recently, where they're like, everything's in my head, and I always go back to we use the construction analogy. So when you get hit by a bus, what happens? And it's not wishing anybody gets hit by a bus, but if you're not in a place where your information, and I know it's like hard to say all of your information, but at least a predominant amount of information about how your business is run and how it's structured, that's easily available. Then if something happens to you, what happens to your business? And that's kind of sad. Like, I think a lot of times business owners go into business because they want a business, but have to understand at some point they have to be in a position where their business runs without them, or at least their business there's the information about the business that if something happens, even temporarily, that your business can go on. I mean, for example, today you could get, a nasty case of the flu or COVID and not be really functional for like a week or two. And it would hate to say that your business dries or stops because there's not enough information available for someone else to step in, at least make a call for you, follow up on a contract, that kind of thing, to allow you still to come back to something.
Mm-hmm. And I would, to pin on to that as well, is being able to pass some items along to somebody else means that you need to have funding to do so. And as small business folks, even as we, reach out to different government agencies, to the organizations who are built to help, there is still a lot of administrative work that has to be done in terms of proving that you are a viable business, proving that you are in good standing in the state where your business is registered, and then going from there. But it can be an onerous process, and
it can be daunting.
Yeah, it can be. And I think that one of the best things I did for myself was really just to organize all of my paperwork, like all of my, your taxes, your certifications, your registrations, organize them so that when you need them, you just pull them up.
For the press of a button. Yeah. And it's a lot, right? Like there's constantly things coming in. And I know that my business coach, and that's one thing I would also say for small business owners, like talking to someone else that's in business, talking to successfully in business. Let me just add that. Talking to other peers that are doing relatively well can be helpful, because to me as a business owner, you definitely have to be in a position where you're always open to learn, because there's more information out there than you can possibly handle. Like talking to I have an amazing girlfriend that has a home healthcare business, and learning about earned income tax credits for her business, and how that was like nearly $19,000 per employee for her through the pandemic. Like there's so many different programs, but like the assumption is that you'll be able to get it all. That's a wonderful assumption. But I know, and I've always kept this in the premise of my mind, you only use 10% of your brain physically. So there's no way you're ever going to get everything, right? So even if I have 1% of somebody's over here and 0.5% of somebody else is over here in terms of information sharing, I've grown how I function. I've grown how my businesses function. And that's really important.
Very much so. So that actually leads into another topic that we kind of discussed before, which was working on your business versus working in your business. And what's the difference between the two, and how do you do both? Because quite frankly, if you're working in your business and business is good, that success in and of itself steals the time that you would be able to take to work on your business. So how did you get past that initial hump?
So I'm still working through it. So, it always, admittance is an ability to work through your therapy. You've got to set aside the time. Like when they talk about the importance of time blocking and the importance of looking at what you're spending your time on and how much it's worth to you. And I know a lot of times working on your business may not seem as if it's really that valuable, but the ability for you to grow your business and grow to other opportunities sometimes is more measurable than the dollars you're earning for whoever that client is. And so it's really kind of focusing on whether you decide it's 5 hours a week or it's a half an hour a day. And you have set tasks around your goal of where you want to take your business, but it's really taking that time to focus on it. And I get it. Like I've worked in my business pretty much the entire time. A lot of my clients have been based upon relationships that I've had with different municipalities, with different private industries that have grown. And so a lot of times you feel the burden of my business is my brand and that is me. But if you really want it to be a business, then it has to be less of you. It has to be more of the brand, and it has to be more of the business. And you have to now push the focus away from yourself, but onto working on that to then allow yourself to grow. We had talked about also, Tiffany, I know we made a conversation that day, but in terms of leveraging and getting support from individuals, like if you're not in a position to hire somebody as a full-time business development person, getting either a virtual assistant or somebody to come in as a consultant and work on a couple of different projects for you that will like allow their time to be leveraged in your favor to grow your business, and look practically at it. And it may be a case where you're like, well, I don't have the ability to truly compensate this person based upon the effort that I want them to do. So, for example, writing a proposal, it may be a conversation with a proposal writer of, look, I will give you, X percentage or a flat dollar fee up front. When we win the award, then you get X percentage on the back end. So there's a lot less stress on yourself in regards to, I don't have the ability to pay this person, but you have the ability to incent somebody. And that incentivization is actually sometimes more valuable than just the ability to just pay, hourly, day rate or whatever, or salary.
Exactly. And I think too, what you were mentioning earlier about finding other entrepreneurs and business people, peers, could help in your purchase, building up your purchase power or your hiring power as well. That's wonderful. Thank you. So my next question is really about peace. One of the things that I have developed as a business owner is peaceful project management. And it's a, people first way of getting successful outcomes out of your strategy, out of your projects, out of your people, and really reducing some stress on yourself, because we all are humans getting the work done, no matter how technical the work may be. So my next question for you is, how do you find peace while handling the duties of business ownership, along with all of your personal responsibilities? You're in the community, you're a mom, everything.
There is no peace. I don't understand why we ask these questions. So I would say, one, you got to be intentional, right? Like the whole concept of self-care is so important. And it was hilarious that you say that. I'm going to grab something. So my daughter this year for Christmas was like, here, mommy, self-care for Black women. Like, you need it. So people in your life know you need self-care.
My bestie has that book and I borrowed it from her. I love that book.
I'm still going through it. But it's like, as you time block to get work done, you time block to take care of yourself. You time block to get, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes a piece, if it's, I can't meet with you, I know it's late, I got to go take a quick nap. Like, you taking care of yourself is, because if you can't take care of you, you're not going to be able to take care of anything else. And I think for me, it's more, I found continuing to explore who I am and what I want to do and what I like doing. And so I've grown in, so I'm a really big zip liner. I love it, but I can't necessarily get out to zip line, in Baltimore that often. So a relative turned me on, my amazing sister turned me on to rock climbing. Really cool, like doing it. And so just finding ways for you to, or even just walking outside, like it doesn't have to be something where there's a huge expense, but finding ways to just kind of step out of that box, allow your mind to be quiet. Now, it's not going to be completely silent. You'll constantly be thinking of stuff, right? Oh, did I lay this out? Did I cook this? Did I call this person? But at least taking a moment to step away and appreciate who you are and where you are in the world. And that can be 5, 10, 15 minutes, just a walk your neighbor's dog. But, take the time to really kind of take care of yourself.
Agreed. Really putting some time into my own physical health, just the basics. Did I drink water today? Have I taken my meds today? Did I get a chance to get out and see some sunshine today? Like, have I, did I sweat a little bit today? And realizing, one thing through the pandemic, and especially, working remotely and being able to sort of reconfigure your daily schedule now that it doesn't have an hour to an hour and a half worth of commuting in it, really gave me room to improve my own physical health, which in turn really improved the quality of my work. And I love that. I love that for me.
And here's the thing that then in turn improves the quality of yourself, right? Because you're feeling good, you're doing good work, you feel better as a person. Now you want to feel better. It's like it's an amazing positive cycle. Now, that being said, though, we can't have this conversation and not say, but there may be points where you're not the greatest. There may be things that don't necessarily go the way that you had planned, and you need to now take find peace and mental space, and you should. Like if you found peace doing a certain activity, but you're still not getting to where you think you should be, and you're not to a place where you're happy or to a place that you're comfortable, then seek the help necessary. But don't ignore it. I'd say that much. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we've been on for a minute. Is there anything that you wanted specifically to share with the people watching this interview? Maybe some other budding entrepreneurs, small business owners who are looking to be big business owners on maybe a next step, a tip, a piece of advice?
Don't take for granted. You'll get this one. Don't take for granted what you know and how you can use that to create a business. Take a chance on yourself, but take a risk-based chance on yourself. In saying that, being that know your numbers, and starting a side hustle to then grow into a business, there's nothing wrong with that. And especially in this day and age, you want to make sure that doing it that way actually reduces, even though a lot of people are like, well, it's really stressful, but it's more stressful to not be in a position to cover your living expenses versus you can cover your living expenses, but you're not necessarily doing all the fun activities you would like to do because you're growing a side business. But be patient with yourself, be disciplined, and allow yourself to know that you can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Brenda. I think
Thank
you
you.
did a great job. Thank you so much. Oh my God.